Hello, Orland Park and Tinley Park. We're in beautiful Tinley Park tonight. We're here with one of the most talented individuals that I've ever had the pleasure to meet. I've actually had a pleasure to work with this individual, and I'm humbled by the fact that I got to work with him, because he's there's just so much talent. This young man next to me has so much talent oozing from his pores, and I keep talking and talking about him. But he's a comedic genius, and he is also an acting. The talent he has in acting. Where I got started with them, and we'll talk a little bit more about. We'll reminisce about being in Christmas Carol together. It was my first play, and I have to say that everybody was very supportive, but Ray was probably the most supportive. He came up and he said to me, you know, when you're on stage, make sure you look forward, look out. Don't, I didn't know. Nobody told me. I'm sitting here and we're working and I'm going like this and talking. So anyway, always look out at your audience as much as you can when you're acting. So we're glad to be here tonight. We're at Dandy Jack's in beautiful Tinley Park, beautiful club here. Ray is the master of ceremonies, the host. Ray Fischer. Let's hear it for Ray Fischer. What do you do here at Dandy Jack's in terms of you're in complete control?
Yes, I guess you could say that, Dan. I run the open mic comedy, which is on Wednesday nights from 8 o'clock to about 10 o'clock. Anybody can try it. So if you want to try to tell jokes, you can get up there, Dan, and tell some jokes on open mic.
You know what? I'm gonna come up and do some classics. I'm gonna reach back into the vault and get some classics out there. So what else do you do out here?
We also have weekend shows on Saturdays typically, where I take some of our more crafted talent and put them on stage and have themed shows. And our next one's coming up May 3rd. I'll have a national touring headline comic named Mark Henderson here, and a local favorite, Mark Johnson, here as well. And we just have fun. We make it a nice, warm atmosphere where anybody's welcome to come and try to do comedy.
Comedy. It's probably one of the greatest resources. It's something that is relief stress. Yes. It does so much, and because I read a story recently that if you the more you smile, your heart rate actually goes down. And it relieves the stress. Just smile. So sometimes when you're walking around and you got that scowl, what do they say? It takes so many muscles to make a frown, but it's just so easy to make a smile. And what do they say? Turn that frown upside down. Is that what they say?
Smile be an umbrella.
Now that's the genius that we have here. So let's talk about Ray Fischer, the comedian. What does it say in your card?
Comedian, actor, and fashion model.
Fashion what?
Fashion model.
Fashion model?
I'm up for some modeling. If you want me to model for you, I'd be happy to do it.
I did not know that about you, Ray. I've probably seen you in some Calvin Klein commercials or something in some of those Nordstrom ads.
Yeah, they never call me back, but we'll try.
Yeah, but you always get one try. No, we should have you take your shirt off and do a little gun show, but yeah, there you go. The Army called. They want their guns back. Yeah. Okay, there's we go. Now the jokes are rolling. The jokes are coming fast and furious. So let's talk about you're young. You're very young. You've just had your first child. What's your child's name?
My child's name is Mary Isabella Fisher. She was born November 13th, so she'll just be 5 months old on April 13th.
And your beautiful wife Tina, and it's wonderful because the last time I saw, I think I've seen Tina since then, but I was here for the shower. Yes. You had a Saturday night.
We had a baby shower show. Some of our comics who are parents came on board and did some comedy with us, and Dan got Mary a big red wagon, which she hasn't gotten yet, so it'll be a later Christmas present, so don't tell her that she knows it's there.
Yeah, don't. But I'll be proud to see her in the wagon. It's going to be great. But so you're young. You're with your first of 6, 7, 8, 9 children that you're going to have, and so you've got so many great influences, I'm sure. So let's talk a little bit about comedy. Who do you think was a major influence when you were young and you saw it and said, I like that?
I had to break it down into 3 people. First, I would say was Robin Williams, because he did voices. He talked really fast, had a lot of energy. I portray that on stage. Jim Carrey, kind of the same idea, a lot of physical comedy with him. And I really like Conan O'Brien, his quick wit and just one-liners and just the way he tells jokes. Those are probably my big three influences.
Yes, the big three. The big three. No, Jim Carrey's phenomenal. And like say, take the movie Mask. I don't know if you saw it, how great they do and what they do with it. But so if you had to give me, I'm going to ask you to bring just one. You can talk about some other movies that might have been great and you took some things from. If they said, okay, you can watch one movie, one comedy only for the next year, what would it be?
Ghostbusters.
And now he was a talent that I think so many people didn't know about. And I'm speaking of Harold Ramis, who really created Ghostbusters. He helped create Animal House, Caddyshack, and
What about Bob?
What about Bob? Whoa! What about Bob? What about Bob? It's you could do lines for that. I am on vacation. So you know what? Okay, you're great at comedy, and you bring up a good point. Harold Ramis, he was almost. It wasn't that where he did such great work was being the straight man. We all need a straight man if you're going to be a comedian. And in Stripes, there's another one. Didn't think I'd bring up Stripes. Stripes. I mean, he was funny, but he was more of a foil and a straight man to Bill Murray, who you also had mentioned when we talked before, being one of your earlier influences.
Yeah, comedy's not like tennis. You have to give and take and have a good volley with people. You just can't slam the ball the whole time. It's like a good slam is funny, but if you have a partner you can banter with, it's even more funny.
Yeah, to myself, I love a dry humor much more so than just slapstick. The dry humor where they're getting where John Belushi would just come out of nowhere and it's just more natural. Real life is much more entertaining than just trying to do vaudeville, things like that. But what Harold Ramis did with so much of what it was almost like we all grew up on some of his movies. So give me your favorite Harold Ramis movie other than Ghostbusters.
Well, I mean, What About Bob is fantastic. Yes. I love that one. And Caddyshack, the scene with Bill Murray and it's in the hole. I mean, that's just so comedy gold right there. One take improv on that one.
Yeah, no, it's what was his name? When he says you must have been something before electricity, honey. Those type of things with Rodney. Yes, yeah. And when he says, I don't know what his assistant's name was, Sing or say, he goes, it's a parking lot, when he's trying to take all of the pictures. There's so many lines you can take back from that. But when you're looking at some of your other early comedic influences, give me some comedy shows, because comedy movies are so important. The comedians, but like a show. I go back when I was a kid, it was Gilligan's Island and Beverly Hillbillies. But you had a little different influence. What kind of TV shows influenced you?
Honestly, my comedy probably comes from Saturday Night Live, all the way back to John Belushi and Steve Martin and Dan Aykroyd, up until Adam Sandler, Mike Myers, and Chris Farley. Just the sketches, the wit, the fun they had, and how they all kind of have a stand-up background as well. It just one after another just really influenced me as a child watching those late night comedies.
So, as a comedian, when you're going to sit down and write jokes, when you're sitting down and write jokes, what do you is it just something that comes out? Do you set aside time? You go over to the library and you try to come up with jokes, or is it more free flowing? You're driving along and things come. Where do you find you get most of your jokes?
Well, I think it's just a comedian needs to be a good listener. You need to hear what's going on and try to find the funny stuff with that. Like, for instance, you hear a story about how smog has been connected to tiny babies. And I say, way to go, tiny babies. Thanks for making smog.
And you wrote it.
Oh, yeah.
You wrote it.
Yeah, I mean, obviously tiny babies aren't making smog, but you twist the words around, you have fun, and you just you hear something, you move it another place, and it becomes funny.
Yes. Well, it's Ray. I really am. I sat back and I started out. The way we got to know Ray was I got lucky and I got a role as Ghost of Christmas Present in Christmas Carol about a year ago, and you had a role that fit you to the T. You were perfect in it. You were Bob Cratchit, and I just remember you had that long scene, and I just said, "How do you remember that? What do you do You know, you've done a number of plays, a number of you did musicals. You were the Scarecrow in Wizard of Oz a few years ago here for the Orland Park Theater Troupe. So you're talking a man of many talents. You're talking a guy who's played Scarecrow in Wizard of Oz. He's played Bob Cratchit in Christmas Carol. Give us some of your other roles that you've done.
I was Mr. Frank in Diary of Anne Frank. I played Charlie Brown in You're a Good Man, Charlie Brown.
Whoa.
I played a drunk Brit in a drama once, and I've done sketch comedy and written comedy, so all over the map.
Yeah, you've done quite a bit. What you give me some of your goals that you still see that's out there that you really even some plays that you might want to do that you think in your mind if they ever did that one, I'd go out there and I'd go for a part.
I would love to do Joseph someday and play Joseph. That'd be a lot of fun. I guess I just what's the next step? I set a goal for myself to work out of state, and so that's happened. I've done 2 shows in Michigan City, and then maybe work consistently out of state, maybe once a month. Just continually, step by step, just keep finding something. Who knows? Maybe the Tonight Show someday. We'll see what happens.
Yes, you're going to be on a Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, and just like Johnny Carson used to make comedians, Jimmy Fallon will look over at you and say, "Come on over, son. Sit down," and immediately you'll be made. But I'm going to throw out a few different comedians. Give me your opinion on them. I'm going to throw a curveball at you. This one you're not going to expect me to say. Joan Rivers.
Very funny, very energetic, and she knows how to work a crowd and have fun with people.
Yes, she does. She really is. She's amazing with what she does. Judd Apatow. He's not really I don't know if he's a comedian, but he's at the top of his game in terms of movie making right now. So what do you think of Judd?
Very clever writer and very witty in terms of how he prepares characters and situations.
Bill Murray. He's done such great work in movies now. How do you compare his dramatic work to his comedic work?
What happens, I think, a lot with actors and performers is you evolve as a person. And I feel like he had his chance to be his goofball in Caddyshack and Stripes, and then he had a chance to be kind of more of a family man and figure out, like, What About Bob and Groundhog Day? And then he got to do Lost in Translation and other dramas with that, and just kind of be a mature adult and just develop himself as a man and as a character.
What do you think of the the latest movie he's in and the director? It's not. Is it not Wes Craven? Is it Wes Craven?
I think so.
Okay, but the one who's made
Tannenbaums and Rush.
Yes. What do you think of that body of work, the movies that he's bringing out? And Bill Murray seems to be in a lot of them with him, but he gets so many great stars. What do you think of him?
I'd have to say I probably prefer Ghostbusters and Stripes to those, but it definitely brings out the wit and the script and the strength in writing, and are definitely alive in those movies.
Yes, you really, and it's one of those where you really have to pay attention, but you pay attention to anything in Ghostbusters and those others to really catch what they've got in it. But who do you think in terms of in terms of director other than Harold Ramis, comedic director, could be now, could be early on? What do you see as who would be the finest comedic director that you've come across?
Well, I'm a big fan of Ivan Reitman. He did Ghostbusters.
Yes, Ivan Reitman.
I like films that Lorne Michaels produces, because he does all the Saturday Night Live films like Wayne's World and Tommy Boy and stuff like that. I feel like writers, though, sometimes have the biggest influence. Like you said, Harold Ramis and Judd Apatow, and a lot of the times these comedies are improvised and they're just kind of taken off the cuff. Like Robin Williams in Good Morning Vietnam, a lot of that script was just him flying off the handle and running with it.
It was amazing what Robin Williams did. But what do you think, now that you brought up Wayne's World? Mike Myers, he was so talented, and I haven't seen him in 5 years or more.
I think what happens is you get a niche, and it lasts for such a long time, and then it kind of fizzles out. Like he had Wayne in Wayne's World, then he had Austin Powers, and it's kind of people know him for that, and unfortunately he hasn't found that next niche yet. But I like him. I think he's funny.
Oh, he's great. Even on some of the Saturday Night Live skits. You remember when that skit about the monkey? You want to pet my monkey?
That was Sprockets.
Yes, the Sprock. No, it was real. He was just so talented. But then, how about a guy who I don't think gets enough credit, and he's just so multi-talented, and I think he reminds me a little bit of you now, come to think of it. But Martin Short.
I do like Martin Short. He was in Pure Luck. That was a fun one. Played some great characters on Saturday Night Live, and again, I got into kind of a niche with Father of the Bride, and he's still funny. He's Three Amigos. Come on, that's another good one. Good stuff.
yes. No, some good stuff. And I tell you who else transitioned real well from comedy, from stand-up to comedy movies to dramatic movies? Steve Martin. What are your thoughts on Steve Martin?
I love Steve Martin. Very funny, very witty, a good writer. And again, someone who evolved as a comic. He did his silly stuff like Roxanne and an L.A. Story, and then he kind of did Father of the Bride, and then he started directing and kind of evolved like Bill Murray, evolved as a performer.
Roseanne
Barr?
Yes, Roseanne Barr. What other Roseanne do we have? It's like saying Madonna.
Yeah. Very loud.
Yes.
I'll give her that. Very loud, and certainly tells the truth.
Yes. And I heard an interview with John Goodman the other day, and he did say she was in such control. You have to give her credit for that show. Was she a witch at times? Yeah. But sometimes you got to be tough behind the scenes for that to come out and to have a great show like that. So there's so many wonderful, great comedians and the things that have inspired you. And you've got so many great comedy clubs. We've got Dandy Jack's here. What are some of the other clubs around town, around Chicago, that you enjoy?
Well, you have Riddle's Comedy Club in Alsip you can check out. You also have Zany's on the north side, which is a great one. They also have locations in St. Charles and Lake Zurich. And if you're on the south side, you can check out Jokes and Notes on King Drive. That's another good comedy club. And the Ashbury Coffee House in Willowbrook. So they're all over the place. And it's live comedy's great. It's sometimes better than going to a movie.
Yeah, and I think people need to think about that more. Going out to comedy. Yeah, you speak of Zany's. The comedian Jeff Garland is at Zany's in Rosemont this weekend. So those kind of things. Get out there to see him. I want to ask you about one of my favorite shows, the driest show of all time, and with Larry David, Curb Your Enthusiasm. What are your thoughts on that type of comedy? That, like Larry Sanders, how they did that. What's your thoughts?
Again, a lot of it's improvised, and so a lot of the wit is there, the improvisation. Larry David, though, for me, my heart's in Seinfeld, with Jerry Seinfeld and with Kramer and that crew. It's just Michael Richards playing Kramer. Yeah. That was some of the best writing ever. And You Want to Be My Latex Salesman.
Yes,
that's just hysterical.
Now, who played George Steinbrenner in, what we're testing is Seinfeld. Who played George Steinbrenner in Seinfeld?
I can do the voice. I don't know the actor. Oh, George, we're going here. We gotta get that salmon. Oh, there's calzone. I love the calzone. Where's that calzone?
Yeah. Do you know who it was? You know who's that? You know whose voice that was?
Who was that?
You don't know that. I'm gonna give you some comedic history right here. Okay. Larry David. That was his voice. Okay. Yeah, that was Larry David's voice. Somebody had told me that, and now when I watch it, you can tell. But give me a Seinfeld. Give me a Seinfeld episode. Give me your favorite Seinfeld episode. Since did you see in TV Guide, Seinfeld was voted best comedy of all time.
I do love the scene where Kramer's driving the bus, and he's fighting the robber off with one arm and driving the bus with the other.
Yes,
that's great.
How about when he's doing the fire truck? Oh, yeah. When he's in the fire truck and they're actually going over where George started the fire, where George pushed the lady. Yeah. And where it was to push the mother of his girlfriend trying to get out, and the clown was there. Yeah, there's all kinds of great stuff. All kinds of great stuff. So, Mark, are we okay, or are we? Mark, give me that wrap-up sign, and he's saying we're talking more than we should, but we can never talk enough to Ray Fischer, because he is he's a talent beyond talent, and I really look forward to you just keep blossoming in comedy in Chicago. Hopefully, I'll get to be in another play with you someday.
I hope so too.
And you and Tina, and we look forward. Maybe we'll be around so long that your daughter will be in a spring musical, and
even better.
Yeah, we'll be in it. But we look forward to it all. We look forward to being around you. You're one of the class acts. You're a comedy talent, but above all, you're just like you're the salt of the earth, Ray.
Oh, thank you.
You're the salt of the earth. You do a job that, you just do a great job, and you're a great person, and let's keep it all up. So for Orland's finest, 147 South, everything we're doing, everything we do, but you out there in TV land, remember, it all started when I was a young boy, and we watched Saturday Night Live, and the first cast, 1980, that changed it all. 1980 with No, it wasn't 1980. I'm 75. I'm sorry, 80. John Belushi, Chevy Chase, Bill Murray, Gilda Radner,
Dan Aykroyd,
Jane Curtin, and who was the guy Garrett Morris.
Yep.
Baseball been very, very good to me. Yes, you got it. So see if we can finish each other's lines here. So Ray,
thank you, Dan.
best of luck in everything you do. Here from Dandy Jacks, Ray Fischer. We're here. We love it. We love it live. Go Dandy Jacks. Thank you.
Remember, clean sets on stage tonight, so if you want to be aired, it's got to be clean. PBS clean. We're talking Elmo and Kermit clean. That's where we're at. That Ray Fischer clean. Let's call it that. Let's call that standard, basically. Yes, very good. Let's get up for our staff tonight. We got our wait staff in the back. Clap up for them guys. And DJ J Will over here cleaning the tunes for you. I just got a couple things to say, then I'm going to let the show roll in here. All right, so I've been doing a lot of diapers lately, right? Having a baby, a lot of diapers. And I've been thinking about diapers way too much, I'll admit it. Like, for instance, I've noticed that a lot of cute characters on diapers, like Elmo and Mickey Mouse and Kermit. I understand why Winnie the Pooh would be there, but I get, hey, yo! But I got to thinking, why do they have all these cute characters on diapers? They should have people you want your kids to poop on the diapers, like Rob Blagojevich, put him on a diaper. Or Osama bin Laden, or Saddam Hussein. Or customize your diapers, like that uncle you don't like. Put him on a diaper, take a dump on him, take that. Or Miley Cyrus, for instance, twerk on this. Alright, so here's a couple of my oldies, guys, just for the sake of the fun of the evening. Saw a pair of tortoises in the news this week, guys. They were married for 105 years. They had to get a divorce. 105 years of marriage. Apparently the male tortoise started biting the female tortoise. They would have got divorced 95 years into marriage, but he had to get to her first. You can say they had a bitter relationship. What else did I see in the news? Oh, I saw this today. A lot of bad movies over the summer. The sequel to Cars 2 came out called Planes. You guys sure you're Planes, right? It's on DVD now. They're making another movie about talking vehicles. They're going to call it Trains. And after Trains, they're going to have rickshaws. Just talking rickshaws running around. Yeah, but thank you for the drum beat there. I appreciate it. Oh, good grief. Yeah, it's corny. It's okay. We're having fun. Let's see, what else can I talk about today? Let's do one more for you. I believe the Lone Ranger came out, guys. Lone Ranger. Really surprised to see a white man playing an Indian. The cast of Dancing Wolf was surprised too. They threw their hands up and said, "How?" Crazy. They would have gone opening night, but they didn't have a reservation. Womp womp. All right, guys, we're gonna get our show rolling here. 5 minutes tonight for the keep the show rolling. Our first comic is first time here tonight. Very glad he picked tonight to come. Let's clap up for Jack McTooth, everybody. Jack's here.
Yes, that's actually Jack Mantooth. Oh. Yeah, that's awful growing up with that one, huh? Yeah. You can just fill in the blank. Parents didn't even give him a middle name, just Jack. You know what can come next? Mantooth! Just fill him in. You could be little again, it's good. You can do that. It's all right to embarrass yourselves. So I'm engaged. Woo! Yeah, that's what most people say. It's a lot of women, though. Guys kind of look at you confused, you know? It's like when you hear about stories about how did a guy lose his arm playing with one chainsaw by himself? Same way an engagement happens. You're confused, you're scared. Somebody got injured. I don't know if you guys know this. The word engagement, I looked it up. Because I had to be a little bit inquisitive. I had to learn something. Engaged? It's the only term used in battle. It's kind of confusing. We're engaged. We're in battle. But then it started to make sense. Because when I asked her, somehow, in between me saying, "Will you?" and getting up to here, there's a teeter-totter of power struggle switched. She just gained all control. The wording changed. The control changed. I can't go to the bathroom without asking, "Where are you going?" Didn't know I had to check in. I'm going to poo-poo. This is what I do. But yeah, it's difficult. This is the whole engagement. Everybody cheers. And, you know, I had to watch her. Because a lot of people, you get caught up in the moment. You don't pay attention. Women have 3 different different reactions when you give them a ring. They'll either get it, and before you're opening the box, tears, so there's blindness. You know, that's a good one. That's a win-win, you know what I mean? She don't know what she's doing, this may work out for you. Then there's the other time, you ever see this? She puts the ring on, extends her hand out, and starts to stare at it for a little bit. And shake her hand. She's weighing that 2 months salary right there. Getting that view of that distance, talking about, yeah, that's 2 months, okay. That's kind of nice. Well, I'm going to get a couple more months out of him. You got to give him another one after that one. And do you guys know what a husband means? Monetary supporter. She keeps repeating that to me. You're going to be my husband. I'd be excited too if wife meant supporter of something. It just means a man's woman. That's nothing. Doesn't mean nothing to nobody. Just that's the way life's going. God bless you, don't want to have kids, you know what I mean? You don't want me to ruin the world with somebody like me and hyper and crazy. Kids are just too, man. I got the idea. I don't understand. You know there's $170 pair of furry boots made in Australia that kids won't let go of here? Uggs boots? You guys don't know about them because you ain't got the kids. I got 2 girls, and they're ugged up. You know what I mean? You can't even get them the fake ones. Some bear paws, you'll screw up your life with a bear paw. You bring a bear paw home, it's like bringing an LG something phone. You ever? Kids are spoiled these days. They're selfish. That's why they're always like me. It's Apple. I blame Apple. The iPhone, this selfishness. It's always about me. Guys gotta let that go. Share the love. You know what I mean? Give it to everybody. That's what life's about. Sharing the joy. That's why I'm getting married. Because I'm depressed and I want to share that with you. You know what I mean? I'm actually, I may not look it, but I'm almost 40. And what's strange, if you guys don't know this, you younger guys, yeah, clap it up. But you guys been protecting your backside for I don't know how long. And a couple months, I'm about to pay somebody else just going there for no reason. I'm Jack Man Tooth. That's my time. Thank you guys. Give it up for Struggle for my comedy.
Jack Mantooth, everybody. So something I didn't mention about myself tonight, I'm also a teacher. I help kids how to learn to read and do math, and I was working with a first grade girl, and he looks at me and says, Mr. Ray, I lost a tooth. And I said, did you put it in your pillow? Uh-huh. Did the tooth fairy come? Uh-huh. How much money did you get? $40. What? $40? Back in my day, I got $1. Good grief. That kid made more on her tooth than I did teach her how to read. That's a messed up economy right there. Now, this kid's smart. What she should do is go to the playground and start asking kids what they're getting. Hey, how much a tooth fairy gave you for your tooth? $1? I'll buy it for $3. Hey, Mom, look, I lost a tooth. What are you, a shark? I don't know, $40. Folks, our next comic is an award-winning screenwriter. Dale's the One, everybody.
Thank you for that abrupt stop in music. So I was at a Chuck E. Cheese. Yeah. It's the creepiest way to start a joke. No, it was my niece's birthday party, settle down. But Chuck E. Cheese is amazing. Did you know they sell beer at Chuck E. Cheese? Yeah. I didn't know. I'm not an alcoholic. I thought that was amazing. I was like, they sell beer here. That's so strange. But after 5 minutes of being around those kids, I was like, oh, that makes sense. Keep them coming. No, but Chuck E. Cheese is great. I played every single game that Chuck E. Cheese had to offer, and I didn't pay for a single token. Why? Because there's tokens everywhere there. Chuck E. Cheese is the El Dorado of game tokens. Because the kids have their little cup of tokens, and they're running around spilling them, and I'm behind them trying to pick them up, like, give me the tokens. I need them. I had one little boy come up to me, offered me his tokens. He said, tokens? Oh, what do you do? What do you say? So I said, yes, I will take your tokens. Yes. You've learned a valuable lesson. It felt good to give, and I'm going to feel good on that little helicopter that takes my pictures. But I was surprised it was like a bar. It was very odd. And speaking of bars, I was at one recently, and they had this whiskey that I'd never heard of before. A real sweet name. This whiskey was called Death's Door. It's a pretty cool name, and it's an honest name. It lets you know what's in store for your night if you drink it. Oh, you're drinking Death's Door? Oh, it's nice knowing you. But I love that honesty, and I think other brands of booze should embrace that honesty with their names, just to let you know what's in store for your night, the more of those you have. Like, yeah, can I get a shot of 2 a.m. Taco Bell drive-thru? Can I get some of that? You know what? Let's get a round of pulled over 1 block away from my house. What's that? No, thank you. I had it on my birthday, and I will never ever again drink. I thought it was a chick. Spoilers. No. I'm also a big fan of professional wrestling. Thank you. I love wrestling because anything can happen in pro wrestling. A guy dressed as a clown can slide out from underneath the ring and hit someone with a fake arm. That has happened before, and it was amazing. But it's hard to watch wrestling now because it's very generic. It's a PG-rated show, and it's just a little bland. Like right now, they have one wrestler. His whole character is, he's Irish. That's it. Is he a good guy or a bad guy? He's Irish. Yeah. White skin, red hair, his name is Seamus. Buy his shirt, get the heck out of here. I get it. I had to go to the dentist recently. That's always fun. I had to get the old teethus clean. You know, I call them my teethus, DJ, because I'm an idiot. But here's the thing. I've had several dentists in my life, and one thing seems to be universal. Dentists, not hot. Dental hygienists, smoking hot. Every time. Yeah. How is this happening? There's one over there. They're everywhere. But seriously, how is it happening? These beautiful young women are like, yeah, I'm either going to be a model or a dental hygienist. I haven't decided. I'm serious. They get me in that dentist chair, and their bosom rubs up against my elbow. Oh, I lose it, you guys. I lose it. I'm not getting much action. This is all I have to look forward to. To the point where I get that card in the mail. You know, the reminder card. You have a cleaning in 1 week. And I'm just like, yeah, I do. Woo! Going to the dentist. Did you hear that, elbow? Did you hear? You've got a date. All right, I'm Adele Zawadi, you guys. Thank you.
Folks, our next comic, I'm so glad he's here, guys. He is a comedy legend in this area. He has been on WGN and multiple other TV shows. He's toured the country. Ladies and gentlemen, clap it up for comedy veteran Tim Slagle. Yeah!
So it turns out that police are using these devices that mimic cell towers to spy on our telephone calls. Sprint customers became alerted when they noticed they could get a signal. Right now would be a good time to point out I'm not up here because I have any talent. I'm up here because I've ruined all the options in life. I've been doing this for 30 years. This is all I've got. I now have a gap in my resume the exact same length as a very serious prison sentence. You can't talk your way out of that. No matter what you say, he's going to be thinking murder one with a stupid lawyer. Honestly, how do you answer that question? What did you do between 1984 and 2014? Just making people laugh? Not when I saw you on Orland's Finest, you weren't. What am I going to do? I'm too old to be a fry cook. I'm too young to be a big box breeder. All I have left is that I can serve as a bad example. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, I have become the live version of the driver's ed crash film. Stay in school, study hard, don't let this happen to you. At least I don't have any student debt, which I guess that's a problem for a lot of young people. Right now the president is actually considering forgiving student debt. Woo! Well, I don't think he's going to do it. I think he just noticed that he polls really well of the demographic of young people that regret some bad decisions they've made. And I don't see why the taxpayer should be on the hook. That makes no sense to me, you know? That's not the way America works. The way America works, if you buy a cruddy toaster, you take it back to the cruddy toaster store. You don't say, well, the taxpayer should pay back my Target bill. It should be the same thing. If you have a cruddy degree that you can't pay back your student loan, take it back to the cruddy university that sold it to you. There should have been some warnings, don't you think? I mean, you can't buy a pack of cigarettes that don't say, this might give you cancer. Every casino has a sign that says, you might have a gambling problem. It should be right there in every college catalog, right next to Gender Studies 101. It should say, you don't think you're getting a job with this. You're not. There's only one job available to gender studies majors, and that's gender studies professor. Because if you can convince 50 other young people that they should be gender studies majors, you'll make like 12 million easy bucks for the university. And then each of those 50 have to go out and find 50 apiece. It's kind of like an academic pyramid scheme. University of Amway. Ponzi State. Art schools have existed on that business model for 100 years. Yeah, I swear, every single year the art schools of America turn out another 300,000 bad artists that get in the unemployment line with the 300,000 bad artists from the year before that and the 300,000. And you know what? I blame refrigerators. No, seriously, because what happens the first time a kid comes home with his very first bad painting? Bam! Right there on the refrigerator. And all the relatives ooh and ah as if he's actually accomplished something. It's like his first gallery showing. He's proud. He can't believe that he did. And they're talking about it glowingly, like, well, I really like what you did with the colors and the perspective. It's a three-fingered postman! And then the next thing you know, it's 12 tattoos, a piercing, and $300,000 later, he's working at a Starbucks complaining that he can't pay back his student loan. Our grandparents would never have put up with it. When our grandparents came home with their first bad painting, our great-grandparents were honest. They're like, well, you know what, sweetie? I would love to put this up here on the icebox. But the magnets won't stick to the wood. And Scotch tape hasn't been invented yet. So why don't you take that outside and feed it to the goat? Maybe you'll be a veterinarian someday. And here's the thing, if we're going to pay back the student loans, I think you should pay back my visa bill. No, I mean, seriously. I know you say, well, I got an education with that student loan. Well, I learned some stuff racking up that visa bill that they don't teach you in college. And let's admit it, we both had a bar tab or two on our tuition, didn't we? I learned that you don't hit on 17. Jerry Sandusky could have used that credit hour. Okay, I'm not going to get much worse than that. Thank you very much.
Tim Flagel, everybody.